The news headlines. NLC Rain School located in Atanaford, Uyo, ready for commissioning today by Governor Godswill Akpabio. Dove International Schools complete 3-day capacity building for staff. And State branch of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations gets set to honor eminent Nigerians for their positive impact on the society. Stay tuned now for details of these A very good morning to you. Welcome to KPAC 45 News at Dawn. My name is Etu Ikon. The permanent building of the Nigeria Labour Congress Rain School at Atanaford, Uyo is to be commissioned by Governor Godswill Akpabio today, Thursday, April 23, 2015 by 10 a.m. The school is named after the governor because of his commitment to the siting of the school in the state. It is one of the NLC national schools which focuses on policies and strategies. The commissioning shall be witnessed by the governor-elect, Deacon Udom Emmanuel, and the national leadership of the NLC, led by Comrade Ayuba Waba. The chairman of NLC in the state, Comrade Uyime Osoro, in a statement, invites the deputy governor of Akwa Ibom State, Lady Valerie Ebe, the speaker, Elder Sam Ikon, deputy speaker, Sarah Udoke Apan, and members of Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly to the occasion. Also invited are the secretary to the state government, Engineer Kirewen Ekanem, the head of civil service, commissioners and special advisors, chairman of boards of commissions, permanent secretaries and heads of extra-ministerial department. Also invited to the commissioning are members of the State Executive Council of the NLC and TUC, the leadership of NLC and TUC, Women Committee and Youth Wing, labor veterans, chairmen and secretaries of civil society organizations, human rights and the pro-democratic organization and the entire working people in Akwa Ibom State. As schools gear up to reopen soon, parents, caregivers are preparing their children for the next academic term. Management of schools are also taking steps to cope with challenges that the new academic session will pose. One of such institutions is Dove International Schools, which management is organizing a 3-day capacity building for its staff. The training is to equip and prepare them for increased productivity and better services. Patience John completes the story.
As it is the custom of Dove International Schools to conduct development programs including workshops for its teaching and non-teaching staff at the beginning of every term, staff were trained on areas that will help them to discharge their responsibilities better. In a 3-day workshop which took place at the school's premises, participants were exposed to essentials of teamwork and understanding the behavioral pattern of team members. The resource person, Mr. Caleb Umar of Fistulas Limited, also lectured on basic motivational concepts as well as teachers' collaboration in lesson planning and delivery. Mr. Umar told them to respect other people's views and opinions on issues as part of ways to achieve effective communication.
As you're starting 10-10, you define the goal of the team, which is tied to bring it down. When the team has set its goal, individual will also set their own goals, which is tied to all of the things that can cause conflict in an organization. Performance evaluation system.
The proprietor of Dove International Schools, Mrs. Nseye Nanyeti Ukpe, explained that the school, which was established in 2005, has a mission to develop the children to become proficient and self-reliant. Mrs. Ukpe said the workshop allows staff the opportunity to reflect on the challenges they had in the previous terms with a view to proffering solutions to them and give them tutorials on how to achieve an effective lesson plan.
Dove is a beautiful bird. Our own dove is white in color and it has a green leaf. In every term before we start, teachers have to be well equipped. They have to get prepared. They want to know where they stopped. They want to know where they want to start. They want to know what the challenges were, and they want to know whatever corrective measures they have to take. They need to be trained. A lot of times we have new teachers coming in. They cannot just get straight into the classroom. They have to be given proper orientation.
Some teachers who attended the workshop said it has enlightened them on how to relate with parents, care for the pupils, and achieve teamwork for the sustenance of the institution.
It has also helped us on how to manage each other's behavior. We have learned our basic motivation. Those things that motivate us, how to be effective leaders, and also our interpersonal style.
We learned about how to manage conflict.
But at every resumption, we need how to have interrelationship with parents, and then to know the styles of each parent, also the children.
Patience John reporting.
Following protests and disruption of activities at the main campus of the University of Uyo by some students of the Faculty of Engineering in the early hours of yesterday, the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Comfort Ekpo, has warned against external influences in student union politics and elections. Professor Comfort Ekpo, while addressing the protesting student, wondered why the student resorted to protest without first exhausting avenues for dialogue, formal complaints, and other peaceful overtures to settle grievances with the management of the university. She then directed the protesting student to present their complaint in writing to her office before the close of work. The Vice Chancellor urged the Dean, Faculty of Engineering, Professor Linus Osukwo, to evolve more creative avenues to channel the energy and knowledge of the student to the Faculty of Engineering, away from protests, while advising parents, guardians, and the public to steer clear of student politics. She pointed out that the university was not a political platform, but a citadel of intellectualism where men and women of learning and character are groomed for national development. It will be recalled that students of Faculty of Engineering took to the street and barricaded access to the main campus on Gwangeba Road following the disqualification of one of the candidates vying for SUG President, Mr. Basi Basi of the Chemical Engineering Department. There are many reasons that people go to church to thank God. Some people thank God because He keeps them alive, while some do so because He has answered their prayers in one way or the other. For politicians, thanksgiving is to appreciate God for making them victorious over one political contest or problem. April 11, 2015, governorship and House of Assembly elections provided a platform for the contestants who want to go to church to thank God for being on their side, and thereafter fed their associates and friends. What for a man who did not contest but decided to gather family members, friends and associates to celebrate the success of others? The following story tells of the managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Barrister Basi Danabia, to thank God for the success of Mr. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel and the PDP during April 11 polls. The report.
Methodist Church Nigeria, Afaga Circuit headquarters in Esrek local government area, became a beehive Sunday as the managing director and chief executive officer of NDDC, Barrister Basi Dan Abia, brought together family members, friends, political stakeholders from across the state to worship in a special Thanksgiving service. Preaching on the theme, Working with the Power of God, Elder John Inyabia charged Christians to pray and seek spiritual enlightenment which comes from God. Elder John Abia, who took his preaching from the book of Romans 12, spoke on the need to obey God and work according to His ordinances, noting that any man without God in his life is empty.
Nobody works for God. Nobody carries out the divine assignment by his own intellect. He doesn't answer to education. The grace of God doesn't answer to a certificate. He doesn't know how and where you belong. The grace
Addressing the congregation, Barrister Basi Dan Abia said he was very happy for the love that God has shown him and his family over the years, explaining that his mercy and protection of him and his immediate family are worth celebrating. Even though the NDDC boss refused to accept the gathering as having political connotation, he said it was an opportunity to celebrate Mr. Udom Emmanuel on his victory at the just concluded governorship election, in addition to identifying with candidates of the PDP from Eket Senatorial District who won the election. The elated Basi Dan Abia, who noted that justice has been done by allowing Eket Senatorial District to have a slot at the Government House of Akwa Ibom State, called on the people to be loyal and support the government and commended Esrekat people for voting PDP all through the elections. At a reception which followed at his residence, the NDDC boss thanked the people of Eket Senatorial District for their support and said that they stand to benefit from their actions.
Before the election, a lot of fear, anxiety, etc., that in this Akwa Ibom, particularly Eket Senatorial District, I think God worked overtime here.
Some House of Assembly members-elect from Eket Federal Constituency took their turn to thank the people for believing in and voting them during the election. Among them was Dr. Usoro Akmanuso, who promised to deliver on his campaign promises and used the occasion also to speak on the victory of Mr. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel at the polls.
He appreciates Akwa Ibom people. Same will get them 11th of April. I will return all the PDP candidates as governor-elect and House of Assembly members.
Those who also spoke were Prince Ini Adiakban, Prince Basi Itama, Professor Etiebet Akban, Dr. Esio Okwongudo, Chief Marcus Okuku, as well as Mrs. Elizabeth Esin. High point of the occasion was the presentation of an award to the NDDC Managing Director, Barrister Basi Dan Abia, for his outstanding contributions to human development by a group called Eket Federal Constituency Integrity Group.
KBAC 45 News will be back with more news items after the break. Stay with us. Many thanks for joining us, and now to the rest of the news. To many people and families, age means different things and at different times. It is not unusual if one person asks another how old he or she is, especially in Nigeria. That is why many people hold their ages very dear and celebrate when God adds one more for them. For the family of Chief Pius David Okor, it is time to celebrate their father who turned 80. And so they rolled out drums of Thanksgiving Sunday and assembled with family members, in-laws, grandchildren, and friends at St. Peter's Catholic Church, Ukopanewa, Mbodeku government area. The Darabo reports that the birthday Thanksgiving service also coincided with the 15th year remembrance of his wife, Christiana. The reports.
The 80-year-old man, the father of Mrs. Hima Basetuk of Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Corporation, who was filled with strength and vigor, displayed beautiful dance steps, along with children, grand and great-grandchildren, to appreciate God's mercies on him. The first Bible reading of the service, taken from the book of Acts, was read by Raphael Henry Edate, while the second was taken by the first daughter of the octogenarian, Justice Enoy Sangedge. Speaking on the theme, "My life is my destiny and my glory," Reverend Father Louis Abasedate described the celebrant as the man who fears God. Reverend Father the church parents always to prepare the future well for their children and advise them to correct all mistakes they may have made in their past lives.
As he said to one, he came with a plan, and perhaps he did not know that along the line he was moving, trying his best to make sure that things work out the way it should be. And at the end of it today, his destiny comes to light. And now he's seated, being glorified, being exalted, being celebrated by his own children.
The celebrant, Chief Pius David Uko, thanked God for sustaining him to see his 80th birthday. Chief Uko, who seized the opportunity to pay glowing tribute to his late wife, Christiana Pius, revealed the secret of his longevity to the people.
The family of Pius Uko is here today to thank God for the life of my wife, grandmother, who was called to glory about 15 years ago. We are here to give God the glory on my 80th birthday. Without my mentioning what I did to my father, my children have done all to fulfill better.
Speaking also, the first daughter, Justice Enai Sangadigi, expressed appreciation to God for keeping their father.
And the whole family, we want to donate, make a promise, we are going to donate a set of, I think it's called Jersey, to the Catholic Youth Organization of Nigeria.
Later at the reception, guests were treated to different traditional and continental dishes while the children danced with the father. The event climaxed with the cutting of a birthday cake by the celebrant. Some of his relatives expressed their feelings this way.
What impresses me most is the fact that the man is appreciative. The man is a good man. So long as he is still alive, no peaceful days of his life. Thank you very much, sir.
Idara Bongse reporting.
The senator representing Eket Senatorial District, Helen Eswene, is to be honored by the Akwa Ibom State chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations for her Youth Empowerment Program. Also to be honored for quality service are the Commissioner for Works, Mr. Donaton, and his information counterpart, Mr. Anika Umbana, while the Inoyo Toro Foundation and the Isabella Medical Scholars Foundation will receive awards for promoting scholarship. Chief Uko Akwana Endamomana will also be recognized by the Institute for the Promotion of Culture. The ceremony, which is scheduled to hold on Friday this week at the Civil Service Auditorium with the Nkana Secretariat, will be by 7 o'clock in the evening, will form part of the activities to mark the 2015 Annual General Meeting and second memorial lecture of Chief O.W. Doe Awards Dinner and 20 million Naira Fund Lunch. The State Vice Chairman of the Institute, Mr. Kokun Rabbit, in a statement says the theme of the Annual General Meeting, Conference and Memorial Lecture as Managing Repetition in National Crisis with Emerging Challenges in Crisis Management, a Public Relations Perspective as sub-theme. The statement explains that the theme is expected to examine good national reputation and how it can be built and managed during crises for positive development following the insurgence of Boko Haram, militancy, kidnapping, and economic downturn. According to the statement, explains that the paper presentation and second memorial lecture in honor of the late Dean of Public Relations and pioneer chapter chairman of the Institute, late Chief O.W. Doe, is aimed at creating positive image in organizations, states, and federal government. The key paper will be presented by Dr. Andy Iheme, Coordinator, South-South of the National Open University of Nigeria, while Professor Des Wilson will take charge of the second paper. Members and non-members of the Institute will be expected to register for the lecture with 5,000 Naira per student will be charged 2,000 naira. The state governor, Chief Godswill Akpabio, is expected as chief host. As chief guest, Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Akun Eyayi. Special guest, Chairman, University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Dr. Vala Atta. Chairman of the event and Senator Emmanuel Ibarasian and principal launcher. The event will also have the Commissioner for Information and Communications, Mr. Neka Umana, as chief host, while the head of civil service, Mrs. Cecilia Odosian, will serve as guest of honor. The statement invites all practicing public relations manager, information officers, political office holders, heads of departments in tertiary institutions, media practitioners, persons serving in conflict and disputes related to department, and the public to the event. In the meantime, the institute says NIPR Study Center in Uyo has commenced registration of students and interested candidates seeking to take its examinations scheduled for June and November this year. Such candidates are advised to take advantage of the program and register for the June examination. The cultural and the traditional relationships between Ikodepene and Ibioni government areas were further cemented Saturday as Engineer David Edith Omo of Ndiatok in Ibioni took former Ms. Edidion Prince Ibion to the altar. The solemnization took place at the Groves Memorial Methodist Cathedral, Ikodepene, and was officiated by Most Reverend Sunday Uku of the Ikodepene Methodist Archdiocese. Udeme Okonko filed this report presented in our studios.
The couple were ushered into the church amidst choir rendition as they marched along with the church officials. Most Reverend Sunday B. Uko, Archbishop of Ikodepene Archdiocese of the Methodist Church, Nigeria, while joining the two in marriage, stressed that marriage is built on love and forgiveness. Archbishop Uko urged Edidion and David to love and be committed to one another, as well as imbibe the spirit of forgiveness, just as Christ forgives his chosen ones. He said that these were necessary given their different educational and parental backgrounds, asking them to invite God into their marriage always to make it successful and rewarding. While pronouncing them husband and wife, Archbishop Sunday Uko advised them to be open with one another in their dealings and avoid a third party in their marriage.
My prayer and the prayer of all of us today is that God will give you the grace to fulfill God's purpose in this life.
David and Edidion promised to love one another until the end of their lives, even as they confirmed this by exchanging rings.
I give you this ring. I give you this ring as a sign of our marriage. As a sign of our marriage. And of the vows. And of the vows which we have made today. Which we have made today. Which in the name of the Father. In the name of the Father. And of the Son. And of the Son. And of the Holy Spirit. And of the Holy Spirit. I give you this ring as a sign of our marriage. And of the vows which we have made today, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
They also signed the marriage register as part of their vows to their love. At the reception, the couple cut the cake, fed themselves, and took to the floor for a nuptial dance as they were joined by relatives, friends, and associates. In their remarks, Mr. and Mrs. David Edith Umo thanked God for making their dreams come true and their families for the support.
That alone is enough to make me happy that I'm married to the man of my dreams.
I got married to my friends. I got married to the woman of my dreams. And, I look forward to the most amazing life together.
Congratulations to the couple there. 22nd April every year is observed as International Mother Earth Day. It is set aside to raise public awareness around the world to the challenges affecting the well-being of the planet and all the lives it supports. Mercy Ekere gives more insight on the commemoration of the day as well as other stories in Channel 45's national and foreign news segment. A report.
It is the 45th anniversary of the International Mother Earth Day. This year's theme is It's Our Turn to Lead. Earth Day was first organized in 1970 to promote ecology and respect for life on the planet, as well as to encourage awareness of the growing problems of air, water, and soil pollution. The United Nations have urged humans to take a stand to show the world can have a new direction. The UN says climate change is a problem that is affecting people, animals, and places around the world. Hence, the need to broaden, diversify, and activate the environmental movement through a combination of education, public policy, and consumer campaigns. Simple ways to protect Mother Earth include encouraging tree planting, vegetation preservation, water conservation, recycling of used materials, supporting the green energy, while air, water, and soil pollution should be discouraged. As more African migrants risk their lives to cross the Mediterranean, either to flee war zones in their country or in search of greener pastures, Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi has called on the European Union to tackle migrant trafficking in African countries. Up to 900 people are feared dead after their boat sank on its way from Libya last weekend, leading to calls for more concerted action to stop the flow of people fleeing Africa. The EU had earlier this week agreed to a 10-point plan to prevent more tragedies, including reinforcing its patrolling operations in the Mediterranean. Meanwhile, authorities in Libya have intercepted several boats packed with migrants and have detained more than 600 Africans who were hoping to cross to Europe through the Mediterranean. Leaders of Asian and African nations are meeting in an Asian-African summit in Jakarta, Indonesia, to mark the 60th anniversary of a conference that made the developing world stand against colonialism. The leaders of Asian and African nations are calling for a new global order that is open to emerging economic powers and leaves obsolete ideas in the past. Meanwhile, Chinese President Xi Jinping and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe have held talks seeking to repair the relationship between the two countries, which had been damaged by territorial disputes and a bitter wartime legacy. Speaking at the opening of the summit, Mr. Abe expressed deep remorse but did not apologize for Japan's World War II rampage through Asia. Solar Impulse, the airplane that flies without fuel, is still on its round-the-world course. The solar-powered plane arrived China, completing the 6th leg of its round-the-world flights. Solar is getting ready for its next challenge, crossing the Pacific Ocean. Mr. Stephen Keshi has signed a new 2-year contract as coach of Nigeria's senior team. Mr. Keshi's new deal will expire at the end of 2017 after Kappa Nations in Gabon. His immediate responsibility includes selecting a competent squad for the AFCON qualifying match against Libya, which will be held in Nigeria on June 13, 2015. This is Mr. Keshi's 3rd time appointment as a Nigeria coach.
And just before we go, remember you can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org. Follow us on Twitter at AKBC45, on Facebook on AKBC Channel 45. And now recap. The permanent building of the Nigeria Labour Congress Rain School at Atana Ford, Uyo, is to be commissioned by Governor Godswill Akpabio today, Thursday, 23rd April 2015 by 10 a.m. The school is named after the governor because of his commitment to the siting of the school in the state. It is one of the NLC national schools which focuses on policies and strategies. That's the news from me. Thanks for watching. Have a pleasant day ahead. Goodbye now.
best of entertainment.